Hey golfers, it's Dave from Fit2 Golf. Today I'm doing a review of the Modus 3 Tour 130 shaft regular flex from Nippon. Now if you watch my videos, you know that I've said in the past that if I'm trying to play an iron shaft that weighs more than 95 grams, I should have my head examined. If I'm trying to hit a shaft that weighs more than 95 grams in an iron, I should have my head examined. And while I have more recently ventured into the upper 98 or so gram, low 100 gram shafts, this still is true for me that the heavier shafts don't perform well with my swing. And so I want to make it clear right from the start of this video, this shaft, the Tour 130, is not for me. But I'm going to do my best to present the parameters of the shaft and the playing characteristics and talk about what golfer it might fit in case this is something you want to consider in an iron fitting. So the Modus 3 line from Nippon is their successful attempt at getting an appeal from the stronger swingers. This line was introduced to the Tour some years ago, and when it was proven to be successful, they opened it up to the public. Nippon is really known for their high quality, lightweight shafts for the kind of average golfer, the more moderate swinger. This shaft is very different. The Modus line is different, but this one in particular has some different characteristics which I'll get into in a second. But in terms of the specifications, in the X-Flex this would be 130 grams, the S would be 124. This is the R-Flex, and so the shafts are 121 grams. Like all Nippon shafts, they're constant weight, so they're delivered at a discrete length. As I've typically found in the past, the tolerances are excellent. Most shafts come in either right on the number or within a half a gram. Now what's unique about this shaft in particular, even in the Modus lineup, is its bend profile. I'll put up a graphic here that I got from Nippon's website, and you can see the bottom line is what they're calling a regular shaft, and you can see from that lower line in the bend profile that this starts out in kind of the medium range in terms of stiffness under the handle, and then gradually softens to the tip, and that it might get a little firmer, but for the most part this is for a moderate swinger, maybe a mid-releaser. It's going to have wide appeal. The top line, however, is the Tour 130, which, as you can tell, looks really different. It starts out stiffer in the butt section, stays stiffer through the midsection, then drops to a softer tip. And that's because this shaft is designed for a faster swinger who still wants some higher ball flight, but also wants the dispersion control that a heavier weight shaft provides. So in order to complete this review, I paired this shaft with a Maltby TS2 forged iron. This is a 30-degree 7-iron, and I played it at standard length and lie. I'll put up some swings and talk through a little bit about how the shaft felt and the ball flight. One of the things I noticed right away was it really encouraged a later release, and I think was helping to train a later release for me. I also noticed that even though this shaft feels stiff, it was not harsh at impact. It had that nice, smooth Nippon feel. Another thing I noticed was the dispersion. Even though I was getting a lower ball flight, it was going straight, at least as straight as I can hit it, and I was really impressed by that. So I'll put up the numbers here, how it performed, and you'll see that I really labored to swing this club at 80 miles an hour, was getting a ball speed of 105, smash factor of 1.3, carry distance of 145, not surprising a lower launch at 17 degrees, and a low ball flight of 64 feet. What was interesting about these numbers was the spin, that this was spinning at 5,800, and for a strong lofted 7 and a fairly heavy shaft, that was pretty impressive, and I attribute that to that softer tip section. Now, as I said from the beginning, this shaft isn't for me, and I thought it would be helpful to compare the results of this shaft with one that looked more like that regular shaft bend profile on the graphic. And so I went with the same head, Maltby TS2, and paired it with a Nippon NS Pro 950 GH regular flex. And here are the comparison numbers. With the lighter weight, I was able to swing it faster at 83 miles an hour, getting ball speeds of 109 with a slightly better smash factor of 1.32. Significantly better carry at 156, launching, not surprisingly, higher at 20 degrees. not surprising also was the peak ball flight of 82 feet. Was a little bit surprising was the spin of 5,200. Now what I want you to conclude from that is that you can't judge a book by its cover. Just because a shaft is advertised in a certain way, or you read about it and users saying, oh, it's a high launch or it's a low launch, you really have to try it. All of those things can vary tremendously based on the golfer, their swing, their parameters. All that makes a difference. So this just goes to show how important it is to get fit. Now, because this shaft isn't made for me, I'm not going to give it a rating, but I do want to give a summary of some pros and cons. Spoiler alert here, there really aren't any cons. This is a really nice shaft. The price is very competitive for a premium shaft at around $30. The quality is excellent. I also like that Nippon screens their logos on versus using stickers. And I know that can kind of twist things around if you're puring them or flowing them, but that's kind of a badge of honor. So I think this shaft is a contender for a golfer who swings their 7-iron north of 85 miles an hour, maybe closer to 90 or above, has a smooth to moderate transition and a late or moderately late release, and is looking for a little bit of a higher but still piercing ball flight. Now I'm really interested to know if you play this shaft, and if it performs well for you. Please feel free to post it in the comments, something about your swing and what you like about it, and some of the statistics, so that other golfers can determine whether this is something they want to consider. But in general, I'd say that if you're someone who tends to look at the dynamic gold or the KBS, maybe the C taper or a Project X, this might be an alternative worth considering when you're going through a fitting. So there you go, there's the review. Stay tuned for more videos, more reviews. Go get fit and stay positive.